Here is a video on how I compile results for the CMS Dirt Rally 2.0 League. Show basically a couple different ways. One is my setup, and then kind of how to get more in the simple way to do it, and then a way that is more involved with stats and all that stuff. So first of all, when a season starts, I set up a spreadsheet that has the standings chart in the first tab, and then I just go ahead and I create each event. And this is just copying kind of these headers, and this is really just to keep myself organized so I know, I basically know where I'm at and I'm not having to remember, okay, what event is this? Anyway, so I go through and I set all the standings, each a page for each event, and then I do a lookup table. And the lookup table has the person's, this is basically going to be the Steam name, and the Steam name can change, which I'll talk about a little bit later. We also use real names in our league, so I have a column of real names. Note, these are not these people's real names. These are fake made-up names that I pulled for this video, so I'm not doxing people. And then the cars that they're driving. The car choice they sign up for on the Discord server, and however, basically we don't lock them into a car choice until they use the car for the first time. So the first time someone drives in our event, I will put their car choice down in this lookup table. If they change their car, I basically copy their old car to this one, and then put their new car in here for the purposes of looking up the correct car. And that way I just keep track of, okay, they've used their one car change for the season, and if they change their car again, then they no longer get points, but I'll still keep whatever their like current car is. So if they go back to the correct car choice, then they can gain points again. So there's not really an example of people changing. People haven't really changed cars that much this season, so I don't have a good example of that. But that's basically how I keep track of car changes and what cars people are using. So this table gets looked up in the main standings table. So I just key off of the person's current Steam name. And note that their Steam name or their platform name, let's say if we were to have someone drive from PlayStation, their platform name is different than their RaceNet name. And it's really confusing because RaceNet doesn't have a way of tying someone's RaceNet name to their platform name, which is kind of frustrating. So if you look in the members of a club on the Dirt Rally page, the member names do not match or may not match the names that are actually in the results list, and there is no way to know the names in how the names in the results list line up with the names in the members list. Okay, so that's kind of an aside, but just know that this is basically people's Steam names. And if they do change their Steam name, which is kind of common, especially as people drive in other sims, and they may put their team names in their Steam name. Basically, what I do in that case is I just do a global find and replace, and I'll just update them with their team name or with their updated Steam name. So we have Steam name here, a VLOOKUP. So if you look at this right here, I'll do a VLOOKUP of the other table. And then that automatically fills in their name, and then another VLOOKUP for their car. And this just automates things so I don't have to, it just minimizes the amount of mistakes that I make. If you haven't used VLOOKUPs before, they're probably one of the biggest intermediate features, like intermediate user features of Excel or Sheets, and it's really helpful. So in this case, it's just VLOOKUP C4, which is the driver name. Lookup the lookup table from column A to column C, A being the lookup values, A being the key, C being the value that we're looking up. And then this says look up the third, put in the third column. So that would be the car column of the lookup table. And false just says, I forget what false means. It's like something to do with exact matches. I forget, just put in false here. Anyway, so I do VLOOKUPs on the name, on the real name and the car to fill out this table. So just to keep everything straight. Another thing that I do is, this is just for my ease of use. This is the club ID, and the club ID you can find right here in the URL. And then I also do just the points table. So I have I have a way to cleanly copy the point schedule to each individual event. So that is how I get driver, real name, car. And if we look at an individual event, you'll see this is the overall time and the difference to the leader, and then the points here. And some other stats and a chart. Really the key part is this main table here, and the rest is just nice sort of extras. The chart's a nice way to see how a driver did across the entire rally. And so this is, I don't know, just a very nice feature to have, but it's not necessarily necessary in order to keep track of people's points. Okay, so I'll go through and we'll do Spain. So the easy way to do this is to go to the Dirt Rally league site, club site, look up the results of the rally that you want to score. You can go to the very last stage, make sure that they are all sorted by overall time and not stage time. And then you can literally just copy this table. And we want to make sure, okay, so this is the stage time. So we will just delete these rows or these cells out. I don't know why we didn't get diff in there, or you must be arrange. Oh, I see. So this is kind of the easy way, and then we can score point. Then you'll want to check, oh, this person is driving this car, et cetera, check that they're doing the correct cars. This is where that lookup table comes into play. You just want to validate that they're in the right car. If they're not in the right car, they do get a one car switch. And so that's when I will note down this person used that one car switch. At that point, you'd put in the points. You'd make sure that each person is in the standings table, and then you would apply their points to the standings table, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So that would be the easiest way to score a rally. The problem with this way is in the Dirt Rally site and the club site, everybody is shown with default times. So if they DNF'd, they'll have like a 15-minute time here, or an 8-minute time if it's a short stage. That means that they did not actually have, they DNF'd at some point in this rally. Maybe it was on this stage, maybe it was previously. So it is very difficult to filter out drivers that DNF'd from the driver table. That is where this comes into play. This is a tool that I created called DRT2 Rally Master. It is an evolution of, or it's a reimplementation of a tool that I created for Dirt Rally 1. And the reason this tool was created in Dirt Rally 1 is because we didn't have stage times in Dirt Rally 1. We didn't have any idea of who won stages, or all we had was overall times. So I wrote a whole tool in order to basically extract out these stage times. And it started out just, you would copy and paste every stage into this tool and it would crunch it and blah, 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 blah. And anyway, I basically got smart and said, hey, I can just pull all this data directly from the RaceNet API. So that's what this tool does. This is the advanced mode on how to score championships. So here's the tool here. And in order for it to work, the API needs you to log into RaceNet. So we'll do that now. It pulls up the, it just shows a web page, the sign-in web page for RaceNet. And I'm going to log into this on a different screen. So when you hit the login button, the screen will just disappear, and that's how you know that you're logged in. Now, this is where the club ID comes in handy. So I come back to this page. I go to here. I can copy and paste this value into the club ID. We're going to search for a club. We get the data on the club that I'm looking for. I know that this is the championship. It's the active championship. I also know that Spain is the one that I want. So I click that. I get information about the rally here. And this is where all the magic happens. Export stage results. This is going to export all the results. Let's see, this is four-wheel drive, I think. So this is event 8, four-wheel drive, and it will export it as CSV, comma separated values. So you can see it's fetching the data and creating that. RaceNet's slow. It doesn't return data very quickly. So, okay, that's gone away. We now know that we have our results. So, in the easiest way to import it into Google Sheets is to open it up in a text editor, and you'll see we have all the information for all the stages in a comma separated value. This tool will also automatically detect DNFs. It has a whole bunch of different DNF detection because there's some kind of quirks to the system that allow a driver basically to DNF and then carry on. So this will actually detect if a driver is missing any stage time whatsoever, they're DNF'd in this system. Okay, so select all, copy this data out of the text editor. We'll actually we'll go do this. Oops. I put it around, I don't know, line 70. Doesn't really matter. Just want to have enough space for everything in here. Paste. You'll see it's all pasted as text. Now we go into here and we split text to columns. So now it will automatically take all of our data, split text to columns. You'll notice that we are now missing our decimal places. So I'll actually go through here. These are the stage times. I know that I have a specific format for stage times. So I'll go and select all the stage times to 12. There, I'll select all the stage times. Format, number, and I have custom formats here, minutes, seconds, and then down to thousandths of seconds. Do that. I will also do it here to these differences using the same number format. I cannot do it to the overall times because the overall times have hours and I have a different format scheme for that. So we'll apply the same format here. And then here where we have hours, this just is same thing but a different time format. Format, number, so this one right here, hours, minutes, seconds, and then thousandths. Okay. So now we have our formats. What I like to do is I like to copy or cut actually all of the overall times. So this, I have stage times and overall times. I like to cut all of these and put them next to the stage times. So now we have all the stage times next to all the overall times. So for example, Wolf's Mind won this stage here, 3 minute 25 second, and Wolf Mind is in the lead with an 8 minute 35 second overall rally time. Okay. I don't know how much people look at this. I do share these, but in general, I just post pictures of the final stage times and the standings. So I don't know how much people look at this, but if you want detailed stage information, I do share these spreadsheets. You can also see things like I put in like position change. So, Walter Rawl, let's gained 3 positions here. Then what you do is you come down, and this right here is the last stage of the overall times. So these are the winners, or this is the results. The final results is right here. So I copy this up into here. I delete the position change, shift left. So so now we have the position, which I do formatting on, just to make it look a little cleaner. Your Steam name, the car that you're in, overall position, difference to the leader. Now, at this point, I want to validate that 1, the driver has not changed cars, and 2, the driver is in the standings. So I go back to the previous event where I have a race control. And I just copy. So basically this right here is just a little formula that says if you're in the standings, it says okay. If this driver's in the standings, it's okay. And if this car matches the car for the driver in the lookup table, it will also say okay. So these are a little bit more complex formulas that just automate, so I don't have to go through and painstakingly say, validate every single piece of data. And it also provides more accuracy because it's less prone to mistakes than me actually validating all that data. So I copy this. I know that I can just copy this right to here, and then And then I can take these two, highlight these two, and I just pull it all the way down, I don't know, to like here, right? So yeah, so now I know that this formula is working because it basically breaks when there's no more drivers. Okay, so here we have everything's good with this data. We're like good to go. Everybody's listed in the standings. Everybody has their car listed. If someone was not in here, what I would do is I would take them, I would copy their data, go into the lookup table, and I would paste their Steam name, their vehicle, and then I would go onto Discord and look up their real name, and just make sure that they've registered, which I've not really had much of a problem with that. And then sometimes every once in a while, I won't really know. I won't be able to match. Someone will put in their like RaceNet name, and I won't be able to match that up with their Steam name. But that's usually sorted out by the first couple rounds of a season. So I'll post that into the lookup, and for example, let's say Rojak was not in here. Let's just delete this entire row. Okay, Rojak was not in there. Let's just pretend. Okay, so Rojak is in the standings. Let's actually go here. And let's say Rojak was not in the standings. Okay, so Rojak is missing from the standings. And we don't have a car for Rojak. Okay, so I will go here. I will copy. I've validated that Rojak has registered in our league. Basically paste here, and then I just move the car over one. And put in a name. Now we go back here and we see, okay, we're good. Rojak is in there. We looked up the car. Everything's okay. Still missing from standings though. Okay, well, let's go back to the standings and put in Rojak. Oh, look at that. Now, since I have these, doing a VLOOKUP, that's all done automatically. And in fact, let's just pretend, I'll do this the real way actually. So usually there won't be like a row in here, right? So we'll have to go down here and I'll be like, oh, Rojak, okay, yeah. And then I'll take these two and I'll, same thing, just drag down the formula, and that drags the formula down to and does the lookup correctly. Same thing with right here. I'll drag down this formula too, which is just a sum of all of the event results here. Okay. So we've done that. That's all good. We're all good there. Everybody's in. Everybody's looking good. Cool. Fantastic. Wonderful. Excellent. I'll go back here. Copy my point standings. Points go in here. So let's say someone was driving the wrong car. Let's say Christoph was driving the wrong car. This is a 4-wheel drive league, and for some reason he was driving a Mini. It's incredible that he was able to, hack the system, right? Is this the right car? Nope, this is not the right car. You are not driving the right car. So I'll just take these, and everybody below gets that. So I just skipped over Christoph, since Christoph was driving the wrong car, and everybody gets, then the point schedule just continues on after that. Delete these out, but what I will do is I'll put zeros in here because I'll show you why later actually, and a 0 here just to denote. I'll show you why I put zeros in there. Okay, points are in. I like to do just a little formatting here. Make it look kind of pretty. Yeah, looks good. Okay, yay. Now we'll do, I want to automate these points going into the standings. So I'll go back to standings. We're here in Spain. And if you notice, I do another VLOOKUP here. And I will do this one by hand. VLOOKUP. I'm going to, the first argument is the driver name. The second argument is where are we pulling the data from? And so we're going to go to, this event here. We're going to pull this block of data here. Okay, here's a very, very key part. In order to make it so when you extend the formula through the entire table, I don't want this lookup table to change. So I actually have to go F4. And if you look at what it does is it adds these $signs to make sure that this reference stays fixed. Okay, so we're pulling from this table. The first column is the lookup column. Okay, so now I put another comma in. The third argument is where, what is the value that gets pulled based on the lookup key? And that's in the fifth column. So I'm going to do 5 and false. Close our parens. Now if you look, boom, 20 points. This was done via lookup. So I don't, again, it's just another thing that I don't have to worry about making mistakes. Now I simply pull this all the way down. It fills out everybody's points who drove. One last check that I do is I make sure I look at, okay, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. I had 12 drivers. Do I have 12? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. I messed up somewhere. Rojack. Aha. Yes. So I didn't pull it down far enough. Boom. 12. Just another check to make sure I got everybody in here. That could probably be automated in some way too, but I find just counting to be fast and easy. Now these NAs did not find a lookup value for that person. So I just go through and delete all of these out of here. And what that now leaves us with zero denotes someone drove in the rally, but did not score points. Not having a value means they did not participate in the rally. So it's just an easy way to differentiate why someone didn't get points, whether they weren't involved or they just scored a 0. It's not a big deal. It doesn't matter that much, but that's just the way I do it. Okay, so we also need to pull this down here. Boom, boom, boom. I would probably do conditional formatting just to make this look a little cleaner. But want to make sure that this sum, if you notice, it's just a sum of this range. And now I sort, so select this whole area, go to data, sort range. We're going to sort from, Z to A, but it's really just sort descending, right? So numerically, it would be sorting from the largest number to the lowest number. And we're going to sort on column P, because that is where our scores are. Boom, sort. Okay, now we're all sorted by championship points. Then I go through here and I look and make sure, are there any ties? I'm looking for ties in here, and I'm going to give people ties like here, 11s. I'm going to just put people on this at the same place if there's a tie. I'm also looking for previous ties that need to be unmarked as ties. So we're all good. We're all good. 11. Okay, so this is no longer a tie. So this goes to 12. Boom. This is no longer a tie. So this goes to 14. Boom, boom, boom. All good. All good. This is a tie. And then everybody here is tied for 22nd. Okay. Now we've done our standings. So those are the two biggest, those are the two most important. Accurately scoring someone on an individual rally, and then accurately consolidating that into the championship table. All right, so let's move on to the fun extras. Now, if we scroll all the way down past all of our standings and where we cut and pasted that thing, I have participation stats. And this is just something I added for funsies. Go back up here, copy that there, bold. We want bold, we want borders, we want bold, we want borders. Make sure that this is looking good. Make sure this is, looking good. Okay. Then the chart is kind of finicky. So if you come down here, there's two chart sections. There's chart data and there's negated chart data. This chart you want to use if you're using Excel. It works fine with that. Google Sheets does not like this for whatever reason. It just doesn't sort the data properly. It's kind of like a descending ascending issue. So basically what I did is I made everybody have negated chart data in order for the chart to show up correctly. Just know chart data for Excel, negated chart data for Google Sheets. I copy this range of chart data, or I select, not copy, I select this range of chart data. I come back up here, insert, chart. This is absolutely not the type of chart I want. I want a line chart. I want to switch the rows and columns so the drivers are on the y-axis and the stages are on the x-axis. Okay, we're getting there, but it still doesn't look all that pretty. So we come up here to customize. We're going to go to legend. I like to make it big, like 24. We might have to bump it down to 20. And then grid lines. I don't want any grid lines. So for the vertical axis, we already do not have grid lines on the horizontal axis, which is good. For the vertical axis, just set this to count and none. And all of that will disappear. Now you can play around with whatever you want to make it look however you want it, but this is what I do. And then we just make this nice and big. I line up the legend with data like so. Squeeze that in there. So all that touches, boom, we got our chart. From here, I just do screenshots using the snippet tool. Actually, one thing that I do just to make it look better, remove the grid lines. Sometimes I'll do things like, kind of pull this apart. And then I will do a screenshot basically of this area. My screen resolution is higher than what I have when I'm making this video. So I will, so usually I'll make it all fit into a single screen. I'll take a screenshot of this. So this is four-wheel drive. I'll take a screenshot of this, post it. I'll take a screenshot of the standings, post it. Once I'm done with all of the each car class, then that's it. The only thing that I can think of is if the only thing that I can think of is a tiebreaker at the end of the year, I do WRC rules. So if there is a tiebreaker, like was there a tiebreaker or was there a tie in here somewhere? Yeah, right here. Okay. So These two drivers are tied in the points. The way the WRC does it is the driver with the best finish. So the driver, it's technically written as like the driver with the most first place finishes is the winner. Then the driver with the most second place finishes is the winner. Then the driver, blah, 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 all the way down the. But basically, we can see this driver got 7 points in this rally. Roy got 7 points in this rally. Straffa's highest was 4 points. So Roy would win this tiebreaker because Roy had better finishes. In the case where there are no clear winners, you can either just randomly assign, like I'll probably just keep them as ties. You could randomly assign numbers. But usually that really only happens in the case of the zeros. It usually, I don't think I've ever seen a tie happen when people are scoring points. Tiebreakers are more common in the beginning of the season and ties become less common as the season goes on. So I think that should be it. This video definitely ran longer than I was hoping it to. However, that's a comprehensive view of how I do the standings for the Championship Motorsports Dirt Rally 2 Rally Championship. I will leave a link to my tool here, the Rally Master tool. Releases right here basically, and I'll also share my my spreadsheets, so you could just copy those spreadsheets as a base to get started with the next season. Okay, hope that helps. Thanks.